What is going on, big strong gamers? It is Spencer, and today I'm going to be showing you the top 5 weapons in Vanguard Zombies. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe. Well, check out the links in the description, Discord. Gotta jump in it. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Also, speaking of subscribers, shout out to the big homies Divine, Tez, and also James Grayless. They subscribe to me, and if you do, I'll shout you out. Yes, you big homie. And if not, I'll literally come to your house and pour cement mix in your ears. You don't want that, gamers. Let's get it. For our number 5 spot, we have the STG, and you know, actually, this isn't too bad of a rifle. It is only round 4. I got a pack-a-punch 1. It looks really good, and also, I don't have Devious Lick. I don't know what that Deadshot Daiquiri perk is called, but we're just gonna call it Deadshot Daiquiri. And this weapon, it is great. Don't get me wrong, it's a little bit better for multiplayer, I would say, and granted, also, none of these weapons I have optimized on attachments. I kind of just picked them up out of the box and said, F it, we playing with them, and that's what I did. And the weapon itself is actually really good. It does a pretty good amount of damage just for Pack-a-Punch 1 on tier 1 Pack-a-Punch on, you know, round 3. I mean, it does about 60 damage in the body, but if you get a headshot, it does a little bit more. It's looking around like 232 damage, so you're nearly 4 times the amount. And if you did have Deadshot Daiquiri, I'm pretty sure this applies to tier 2 and also tier 3, so you could expect 4 times the amount of damage per headshot rather than a body shot, which is, you know, pretty good considering it is an assault rifle. Plus, also, this is like the easiest rifle to unlock. I think you literally, as soon as you reach like level 4 or something, you get this thing, so it's not even an issue considering, you know, Vanguard's only like, what, a couple days old, so realistically everybody should be able to use this rifle at least in Vanguard Zombies. I mean, you could technically roll it out of the box, but if you want attachments and stuff, you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to get grade class, I believe. But correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I'm not, you know, I ain't a professor on this. I'm just trying to give you the facts and information, okay? And also, the rate of fire on this gun is actually pretty good. I have a drum mag that kind of gives me a little bit more damage, I believe, so it kind of a little bit slower. You can have the fire rate a little bit faster, but this weapon also does have some range and is also kind of versatile like a submachine gun. It is a pretty solid assault rifle. I would say this is the definitely one that you want to run, at least, you know, for in terms of the assault rifle class, because some of the other ones are kind of meh, and this one works pretty good, but it's still only at, you know, number 5. Now for our number 4 spot, we have the MP40, and like the STG, it is really easily and common to get this weapon. I mean, I think it only takes a couple levels when you actually level up past level 4. I think you can unlock it around like level 8 or something like that, and it is a pretty solid, you know, SMG. I mean, it has everything that an SMG wants. Granted, it doesn't excel superiorly in just one category. I would definitely say it's just kind of like it's the vanilla flavor of SMGs. You know, it's pretty good. You know, you can throw stuff on top of it like attachments and camos and stuff like that or whatever, and it'll make it a lot better. Granted, that's if you do that, but you know, this weapon is pretty good. I don't really have much attachments for it. I think it's only like level 33, so I'm not optimizing anything. No incendiary rounds, no FMJ rounds, nothing like that. Just kind of, you know, just a little bit of attachments to help out with the recoil and stuff, but it is doing a lot of extra damage per, you know, usual. I mean, it does actually have 379 hit marker, which is actually really good considering, you know, the STG, it only does about 200 something, and this is nearly doing a little bit more, but that could also be to Deadshot Daiquiri if you look in my bottom left corner, but it's only at tier 1, so I think the MP40 is a little bit better when it comes to headshot damage just in general, and also the core damage is about the same on the STG and this weapon at the same like level. They're pretty close, I would say. But the rate of fire on this weapon, it's a little bit slower than the STG, I would say. I mean, it's only ranking in about like 700 rounds per minute, and it does actually have a fairly large clip depending on which attachment you use, but you know, that's for you to choose. I'm just running a standard extra, like I think I'm running like a 32 round mag or something, and I'm getting like over 100 in the mag, which is actually really good considering all things. SMGs really don't do that, and this is the one you get a lot of ammo with. Granted, the ammo reserves is a little slim on this weapon, but then again, this is only number 4 on our list, and it's not going to be, you know, the prettiest of the crowd, but it's, you know, it's going to do some damage, I would say. I mean, you pair this thing up with Ether Shroud, you can get a lot of damage done to the little mini bosses with the little, I don't know, those death machine things. and it will do a really good job. Granted, it's not going to be carrying you to like around like 20 or 25. Maybe the weapons are a little bit higher on this list will, but this is definitely a good starter weapon, I would say. If you roll this out of the box and you know you don't want to spend much more money, this is actually a really good choice, and it's even worth the pack-a-punch. I mean, plus also it's the MP40. Who doesn't love this thing? I mean, it's so classic and just fun to use. You can get a lot of really good kills with it, and it's just a good reliable weapon. That's really it for it. Now we have the double barrel shotgun, and granted it looks kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie, but it is round 11, and for some reason I only had tier 1 pack-a-punch. But overall, this thing is actually pretty good, and even on round 11 it's still doing quite a bit of damage. I mean, if you just consider the thing of tier 1 pack-a-punch, I'm getting one-shot headshots with this thing, and you know, granted, you might be kind of like meh about its ammo capacity, but don't let that hold you back. I mean, 6 in the round, this thing will do a lot of damage, and it's gonna do it good. And one of the cool things about this is also you can get these double-barreled, not double-barreled, but dual-wield double-barreled, so you can have about 12 in the clip per, you know, each time you shoot, so you could shoot multiple times and do a lot more damage than I'm doing even right now. And maybe you could even rank this a little bit higher. I mean, just with tier 2 Deadshot Daiquiri, I'm able to crank out quite a bit of damage and kill a lot of zombies. I mean, as you could see right here, I can just absolutely melt the boss just with maybe like, I would say 7 shots. 7 shots at all it takes with this weapon. And granted, that's like a whole clip, but I mean, when you think of like other weapons, they take more, which is a little bit upsetting, but that's in the favor of the double barrel shotgun because it's just so good. It just something about it, just that high power damage that just knocks enemies over. I mean, you use this thing, you know, unless you're in a like sticky situation and you need a reload, it's a little bit bad, but Speed Cola can help you alongside with that. But it is definitely a classic and something that's really fun to use, and definitely I would play with it quite more just because, you know, it's a double barrel shotgun, and who doesn't love this thing? I mean, this thing will definitely destroy all enemies in your way, and there's a couple times you'll get caught in a bad situation just because the ammo. That's the only problem with it. I'm not sure if you could actually increase the clip on this thing, but just for the base double barrel shotgun, this is what I had, and the experience, it's pretty solid. I take it. It's really good. Now for our number 2, we have the pump action or the combat shotgun, and this is a little bit better. It is round 8 with tier 1 pack-a-punch, and this thing is just killing. It's literally just killing. I really like this one, and you might be wondering why this over the double barreled shotgun. The double barrel, technically, you know, it might do a little bit more damage. Well, the weapon isn't just based off of solely damage. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. I mean, the fire rate for this weapon is actually not too bad. You can cock it back really quick. It is really good, solid. I mean, think of it like as the MP40, the vanilla cone of the shotguns, but it does just a ton of damage. It does everything great, you know, like, granted, I would say the damage is a little bit higher and the range is a little bit higher on this type of shotgun. It's a little bit shorter than the double barrel, but it's going to get you your job done with a little bit more efficient stat, you know, kind of like little numbers. But this thing will do a lot. I mean, granted, you can see me just absolutely destroy that guy. I mean, I killed him in 2 hits with a little bit of the thermite damage. I had the ether shroud effect on, and I only had tier 1 pack-a-punch. So if you really think about it, this thing is it's destroying. Okay, this thing does a lot of good things. And another thing that I did say before is the range, and you can use this thing. I mean, this thing, it doesn't light up with range. You're going to be able to cross map them, basically, considering, you know, the Anfang, the little areas, arenas are kind of small. But if you run even slugs or incendiary rounds with this thing, you will be absolutely melting zombies. I mean, the reload is pretty good as well. You get a pretty good clip size, I would say about at 16, which is fairly decent for a shotgun. I mean, you reload about 2 per slug, which isn't too bad. A little unfortunate how it couldn't be 4, which would make it a little bit faster. But one of the downsides of this weapon, speaking of reload, is the reload. It feels just a little slow. I don't know if it's just a me thing or if I don't have sleight of hand equipped with it as well, but it's just how do I say it? It's a little slow. I mean, granted, if you use the whole mag on this thing, it's going to take you a couple seconds to reload it, kind of like an MG, but a little bit faster. I would say it takes about like maybe 3 to 4 seconds just to reload the whole entire clip, which can kind of be a nuisance, but then again, you do get quite a bit in the clip and also the revert. Now for our number 1, it has got to be the full auto grab shotgun. I mean, this thing, Who doesn't love it? I mean, as you could just see with this damage on round 4, the pack-a-punch one, I mean, you can just play with this thing. It's just so much fun. It does everything great, and it just kills. I mean, this thing is really good for high rounds and also low rounds. It gets you a bunch of points, and also, you know, it's one of the shotguns that does all really good. I think the only little problem with this thing is the clip, but you can't extend that with attachments. So it's like, you know, you might be a little bit upset about it, but you can just get an extendo clip and boom, bada bing, you're good. I mean, this thing, it will carry you. I mean, this thing is super powerful, and one of the best things about this weapon is obviously the rate of fire. The rate of fire will absolutely destroy enemies, and it will make sure that you're going to be safe, number one, and number two, you're going to have fun while you're playing the video game. Some of these weapons are a little bit boring in Vanguard, not necessarily on this list, but they're just a little, you know, a little bit boring on that side. But this one does a lot of damage, and it will get you to the high rounds, definitely, for sure. Granted, it might feel a little sluggish, no pun intended, if you don't pack-a-punch it, and that's because, well, it's a full auto shotgun, and the damage is going to be a tad bit lower on this one rather than the other ones like I've shown in 3 and 2. But the rate of fire, the range, you know, all of that is going to be making up for that little slightly less damage that you would normally get on the other shotguns. But with this, you get to crank out more fast numbers, so technically speaking, you know, you can just spam shoot this thing, and you're gonna be doing a lot more damage than you would doing a high punch rather than, you know, just having to cock it. But hey, gamers, if you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, all the cool nonsense. Tell me if I'm wrong, if my opinion's bad. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day. See ya.